And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Market Recap, my friends, fellow futures traders, family. Tuesday, August the 23rd, 2022. Welcome. I'm John. Thanks for joining me at the end of the day here for a little rest, relaxation, and review. I'm taking a look at the news today. Well, the equities ended up closing a little bit lower after the new housing sales dropped to 6-year lows. S&P's unofficially down about 15 points, 0.3%. The NASDAQ down 34 points, down 0.25%. And the Dow down 198 points, down 0.6%. The housing recession is what they are calling it after the new home sales tumbled to that 6-year low. OPEC has now backed Saudi's energy minister on potential output reductions as in case of global recession. They're saying that, but Saudis saying they're dissatisfied at the U.S.'s focus on human rights in the kingdom. They're saying that there's a little bit of a disconnect in U.S. oil futures as to where they want those crude prices. The president is continuing to threaten to relieve student debt today. So we've got all that going on. As far as the markets are concerned, the crude oil had an upside breakout, squeezes shorts, potential market state change based on what the OPEC and the Saudis are saying. Even the S&P's regular trading hour test right to weekly kickoff low, finding support at least for the time being. The NASDAQ weekly kickoff low that we closed below yesterday really became magnetic but resistant to a price above that level. Still some kind of conflicting information from our equities markets. Gold, finally, we get a nice short squeeze, a nice decent move to the upside. If you watch on Twitter, I tweeted yesterday, is gold getting cheap yet? And apparently, for today, it was. The euro spends all day testing that weekly kickoff low, that par 1-to-1 euro to dollar. The 10-year finds temporary support at the weekly kickoff low for now. We looked at it early. We popped up off of it, and it looks like we're heading back towards it as we speak. And the natural gas. I was a little concerned about the lack of open interest yesterday on a continuation to the upside. And I thought that maybe that open interest was a sign of a potential pullback. Apparently, there was some news about the Freeport liquid natural gas plant, that they are now pushing their plan to restart it from October to November, which is kind of an opposite move, isn't it? Do you think maybe we were a little bit too long in that natural gas? I am so glad that I was not trading it today, because my expectations, especially even after that news came out, would be, well, that's tightening supply. Price should go higher, but of course it did not. Just goes to prove to us that the news is not always indicative of how the market responds to it. Or maybe I should say, maybe the market doesn't respond to the news in the way that we should. If you like the recap, make sure you hit the lucky like button. Share, comment, question, feedback, heckling, and love are always welcome. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get notified when we do go live. And if there's something you want, something that we're not doing, something we're doing too much of, let me know. jhoagland@topstep.com. Let me know what you think. Good afternoon, Tachyon. Scott Sauts. Tachyon, I was looking at your comment here a little while ago, down 171 for the combine. Knowing that your hypothesis is correct does not mean that you know how to trade it. A lot of that is trust, I think, Tachyon. You say you know that your hypothesis is correct. How well do you really know it? And how much do you really trust it? I find that trusting your hypothesis is halfway to getting profit out of it, of course. Bill Phillips, good afternoon. The Rooster, afternoon traders, another profitable day by sticking to my strategy, but focusing on managing risk and not profit goals. Had to take profits early on most of the trades, but not losing money has been my main goal. Nice job. Seems my second contract is always better entry than my first. Good afternoon, Haggle Matters. Chop Fest today, most of the day. Yeah, kind of. DA got run over a little bit today. Sorry about that. Tomorrow will be better. Having a beer, just relaxing. That's a good idea. So far, it's 3 o'clock here, 3:05 approximately in the Midwest. Still drinking water for now. Probably have a bourbon maybe later on in the week, though. Frederico, Joe, good afternoon. Tachyon, we got part of the shoulder in ES. Yes, we do. We are still working on that, Tachyon. Dr. VJ, good afternoon. Congrats on your second short in the morning. Yeah, we had a couple of small losses in Make Hogue Money this morning, and we finally got short in really good trade location in the daytime frame. I don't think we were aggressive enough in our profit target, but it wasn't too long after we were done and Make Hogue Money that we got down there and we took that profit. So a good profitable day in Make Hogue Money. Happy about that. Thank you, Dr. VJ. Nicholas, what if we switched group coaching and Make Hogue Money time slots? Could be interesting. Nicholas, see, that's the kind of thing we're thinking about doing is maybe not necessarily replacing or changing group coaching, but adding some Make Hogue Money at different times throughout the day, throughout the week. Maybe we keep it on Tuesday and Thursdays for the open of the E-mini S&Ps, but maybe we take a look on Mondays and Wednesdays at the last hour of the trading day to see if there's anything that those times offer us. Thought that might be an interesting idea, and I appreciate your feedback on that. Nicholas, Stephen C. Bron, been treating this combine as two jobs. Main job, protect the account, and secondary, make profit. Bron, everybody, this is the first combine I've done very well at. See, that's what it takes. It's risk management first. Profits come later. If you're a good risk manager, profits are going to come. They're going to take care of themselves. My goal for everybody that I've ever worked on and worked with in personal performance coaching, everybody that I talk to, it's my goal to get you to a position, to get you to a level of ability to maintain an account. If you're going to have an account, you got to maintain it first. Then we worry about building it. So much of that is based on risk management. I'm proud of you, Bron, and everybody that's really been focusing on risk first. Profits will take care of themselves. We learn how to become good risk managers, and then we start looking at, okay, what's the size of the opportunity that I'm currently looking at? Sometimes, in range-bound trade, profit targets are going to be a little bit more obvious. In directional trade, maybe they're not going to be so obvious. We had weekly kickoff low in the S&Ps today. We were short right off the high in the S&Ps, and we were looking, at least I was thinking, of getting a true test of weekly kickoff low today, which ends up being the dead low to the tick in the regular trading hour session today. So we could have been a lot more patient, could have been a lot more aggressive with our potential profit target because our trade location was very good this morning. All right. Stephen C., who was sitting at 41.30 holding up the ES? 41, well, it was 41.25 was weekly kickoff low. We got one little stab down there, and we really tried to kind of pull up off of that, but I don't think we did a very good job. I think we're going to get another look at that. Nicholas, yeah, it would be cool to be able to look at some TPO with more structure. Absolutely. I will bring that up and we'll see if we can't make something like that happen. Maybe just add one more day to take a look at the TPO charts with a little bit more structure. I think that's a great idea. Having Mondays and Wednesdays in the afternoon is a good idea. Okay, good. Glitter Sandwich, good afternoon. Dimitar, hey John, if there's a substantial difference between ES and MES open interest, which one should we look at? Yesterday's open interest for them is was different by a lot. Right now, because the ES, the mini S&Ps, I believe has much more. Let's take a look here. Because the E-mini S&P is the favorite of the longer time frame. That's why I'm keeping my eye more on the open interest in the minis instead of the micros. I haven't even really looked at the micros as far as their open interest and volume on the chart here, but I'm not even seeing it here. I'll have to look that up. That's a really good question, but overall, Dimitar, I'm focusing more on the open interest for the E-mini S&Ps, not the micros. Vince, good afternoon, my man. Hope you had a good day. Too humble, how do you get your weekly kickoff levels? Well, it's a process, and I keep that process somewhat proprietary to me. I do put out those levels for those that want to look at them, to use them for opportunities. Most of them are based in technical analysis, market profile information, a little bit of math, a little bit of measurement, and some tea leaves and chicken bones. All of those are involved in coming up with those levels. If you look, quite often, those weekly kickoff levels are going to be at or near naked points of control that the market has not yet revisited. There's a hint for you. George, Lacey. George says hello. She's down here on my feet, just resting nicely, being a good girl. You thought that too, but trading MES is mostly going to be speculator only. I want to know what the longer time frame traders are accumulating in the E-minis. How? Not quite sure how to say that. Thanks for your work. I believe it would be great to have some classes on risk management in practice. How to maintain an account is a great idea. How do you recommend to do that? On practice? Well, I think it's a good idea to start anything on practice in a simulated account, but at some point, you're going to have to move on to I would say the trading combine first, because you're not going to be risking real money into the markets, and a lot of that money can be a lot of money in the markets. So yeah, we'll think about working on some classes on risk management, but I would definitely start in a practice account or in a sim account, but eventually you're going to have to move on to a situation where you have a little bit more skin in the game. A lot of folks think they find it easy to trade in a simulated account because there's no accountability, there's no risk, there's no rules, no consequences. So it becomes very easy to make some of the decisions that are much harder to make when you have skin in the game. All right. Let's take a look here through the charts. We got some interesting things that did come up today and things that did happen. Here's the crude oil. This move above this line here. Now this is just a loose line, 1, 2, only 2 real points of contact, just to kind of show that we were putting in lower highs. Now we've broken out above that. I think the real test of a market state change is going to be if we can accept above weekly kickoff high here, which is 95.80. Here's the 30. So we had some overnight longs here that continued to get paid, and this P-shaped profile indicates that was enough today to scare out a whole bunch of shorts. It wouldn't surprise me if this up move was a little bit hollow tomorrow in the fact that we removed shorts instead of added new longs. It could be totally wrong, but I'm going to be interested to see what the open interest does in crude oil tomorrow. Well, I'm not sure how to pronounce Jaoa. Haoa is, I don't know how to say your first name, and I apologize for that. But there's some opportunity to see some risk. Excuse me, to see some risk management when we have make-hog money. If you're not familiar with make-hog money, here's the link to come to it. It's a live account, but you guys talk about and discuss and choose the trades that we make. So, talking about real money and real trades, you can come check that out in make-hog money. Good afternoon, Anissa and Kyle. Good to see you. So here's the E-mini S&Ps. We've come off quite a bit off the highs here. Lost open interest on the way down yesterday. Lost a little bit of volume today. The auction to the downside seems to be kind of slowing down a little bit, if you will, in much the same way we saw the market, the auction to the upside slowing down at the high here. We're starting to see it slow down a little bit here. We've got some support in this also. Here's yesterday. Here's the overnight. Took a look down below weekly kickoff low, 41.25 even. The market opened. It was largely a chop fest. We had an opportunity. We took a short up here, I think up here in make-hog money, and we took that off basically back to VWAP. Good trade. Nothing wrong with it. Good trade. Then we rotated and traded all the way back down to weekly kickoff low to the tick. Now, these weekly kickoff levels are rarely touched to the tick the way this one is. And anything we're looking at as a level or an area of importance is just that. It's an area or a zone. Once in a while, I'll get lucky and it'll stop right on it the way it did today. We still have a lot of gyration. What we were talking about this morning, we knew we had new home sales coming out today, but we have a lot more important information. Well, I'm not sure that the new home sales today wasn't important, but we're looking for durable goods tomorrow and pending home sales tomorrow. We have GDP on Thursday as well as jobless claims, and then two days of the Jackson Hole Economic Symposium with Chairman Powell speaking at 9 a.m. Central Time on Friday. So we were thinking and kind of hypothesizing, if you will, that the market is likely to fall into some sort of range-bound activity. Well, we found our range-bound activity today. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Check open interest. I'm kind of expecting another small draw in open interest today because we had a draw yesterday. We maybe have a little bit more of a draw today as people prepare for whatever might happen in the coming days with the information coming out. Another good shot there at weekly kickoff low. Look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ finds resistance at the weekly kickoff low where the S&P finds support. Look at this. Closed below it, finds resistance. We had, a couple of really good excursions above weekly kickoff high here, kickoff low, I should say. But every time price was rejected, there was not one piece of a candle body that kind of leaks up above this weekly kickoff level. Sometimes they become magnetic like this. Sometimes they become repulsive. I much prefer when they become repulsive. I am not repulsive. So we've got, the S&P and the NASDAQ telling different stories for similar products. Going to be interesting tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing how things play out. Here's the gold. The tweet yesterday afternoon couldn't have been timed more correctly. We got too short. Higher volume today. We'll see about the open interest. We only lost 500 yesterday. Open overnight inventory was largely flat this morning, initially leaving the opening range at the high of the session. But as soon as that opening range gave way, buyers came in, and we ended up with a short covering rally, a P-shaped profile. So if we see a drop in open interest in gold tomorrow, that would not be a surprise. If we see a boost in open interest, that would be a bit of a surprise for me. And that might indicate a potential more possible market state change from moving lower to moving back higher. The euro, yesterday we closed below weekly kickoff low. We traded right back to it, ended up closing back down below it. Again, sometimes they become magnetic. This is what seems to be one of those that's magnetic. But this is a huge number. Par with the dollar. We haven't seen this in 20 years. It's going to take some time for this to kind of digest in the bellies of traders. We have higher value. We have a point of control that finds a little bit more comfort above that level than below. Oh, what to do? What's going to happen? Here's our 10-year. Another pretty close weekly kickoff touch within a half a tick. Take a look at this on the 30. Opened, traded to it, rejected it, coming back down to it. Another opportunity down here for us, maybe. All of our visuals are above. We've got lots of weak structure above. If we can't take out this weekly kickoff low, there's going to be a reckoning to the upside. A lot of that, of course, is going to depend on rates. Look at the natural gas. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. One of the biggest hubs for liquid natural gas in the U.S. delays their reopening for a month and price tanks. How does that happen? Got too long? I don't even know what to say about this. We know we have weak structure down below. Didn't think we were going to hit it today. Very strange. Never know what these markets are going to do, and as always, our acronym here at the Market Forecast and Market Recap is ACH. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Speaking of happenings, in 1947, today is the first Little League World Series champions were crowned. In 1947, the Little League World Series. 1926, the year my dad was born, the star of silent screen, Rudolph Valentino, dies. In 1989, on August 23rd, Pete Rose gets booted from baseball 1970. This is kind of strange. Lou Reed plays his last show with the Velvet Underground. And on this day in history in music, they say that after that he spent 2 years typing for his dad, making $40 a week. $40 a week. Here it is. We got a lot of younger people's birthdays that I don't know. Rick Springfield's birthday's today. Jesse's Girl, 1949 he was born. It's Keith Moon's birthday, 1946. Keith Moon was the drummer for The Who, and an absolute wild man. An absolute nut. And as a matter of fact, in 1967, he was enjoying a wild birthday party. Drove his Lincoln into a Holiday Inn swimming pool. As the party had become out of control, the police were called to put an end to the festivities, but Moon was trying to hide from the police, jumped into his Lincoln Continental limousine, attempting to make a getaway. Unfortunately, he was inebriated and released the handbrake, and the car rolled into the pool. That would happen to Keith Moon. Yeah, it's going to be probably about enough of that. 2019, any Taylor Swift fans out there? She released her 7th studio album today in 2019. First album after parting ways with her former label, Big Machine Records. All of the album's 18 tracks charted on the Hot 100, breaking the all-time female record for the most simultaneous entries. That Taylor Swift, she's got it going on. She's got it going on. Too humble. Check on corn and wheat. We can do that. I mean, I've got I can update these, but it's a lot of markets to keep track of. We're keeping track of 7. If we remove one, I can add one of the grains. Soybeans, maybe. What do you think? Let me know. Okay, so tomorrow again, durable goods at 7:30 Central, pending home sales at 9 Central and 9:30 Eia Petroleum Status report. We just had the API. Well, it's just about ready to come out. We'll see what the API says as far as crude stocks are concerned. Last week, they announced a 448,000 barrel draw in crude. We'll see what they have to say. What are we looking at tomorrow for the EIA Petroleum Status report? Is looking for just under a 1 million barrel draw after a 7 million barrel draw last week, if you remember. So it does appear that everywhere we look, the supply of crude oil seems to be dwindling. I'm going to wait just a couple of seconds here to see what the API comes out, and then we'll call this a recap. And again, thank you all for joining me. Thank you for joining me for Make Hope Money. Tomorrow we do have group coaching again, so I'm going to put the link in for group coaching. If you'd like to join us, please feel free. There's the link for group coaching. And do we have it? We're still waiting. We're waiting. We're waiting. We're waiting. Not seeing it up yet. Just refresh the page. We'll have to figure that out later. I'm going to get out of here. Have a great night. Be kind to yourselves and be kind to others. Say a prayer for world peace and peace in yourself. Blessings. Have a good night. Call your mom. And we'll catch you tomorrow morning on the market forecast. See you then.